All right. Well, thanks everybody for hopping on. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Amber Davis, and we've been doing these special Sunday night Zooms with just amazing leadership all over the business of Lavelle. Let me make sure that everyone is muted. I think they are. And tonight, I actually, when Natasha said that she was open and willing to do this, like my heart kind of pounded a little bit, and I was like, oh my gosh, what Sunday do I have available? So I am super honored, super thrilled to be able to have her as a host trainer tonight for our Sunday night Zoom. I know a lot of people, and Natasha, I know that you're going to get into this, but just so you kind of do know, I know a lot of people on here, it's coming down into what we call the adrenaline rush of a rank advancement promo bonus that's going to be ending here in the next kind of 5 weeks. And so y'all, Natasha is no stranger to being able to equip anybody to be able to build this business quickly, effectively, duplicatably. I don't know if duplicatably is a word, but it's going to go.
It is now, right?
And so it is an honor to have her on, and she's going to kind of walk us through, like, Natasha, if you'll like kind of what your background was, did you have industry experience? What made you put your name to Lavelle, and why do you continue to put your name to Lavelle? I'm an industry newbie. Like, even though I've been with the company for 5 years, I've been able to reach the highest rank of the company. I still feel like such a rookie. And so I like, when I think of Lavelle, I think I'm going to I feel like I put my stake in the ground every single day. And so I'd love to kind of hear like why you do the same thing. And so anyways, you just take it away. I'm going to be taking notes and learning along the way. And as you say really cool things, I might ask you to elaborate on it. But really, I just want to kind of hear like, your journey and then what you kind of tell the newest person, and like what you tell the person that's maybe been around for a while and they can't get to the next level. Like, take it away.
All right. You may have to hop in and remind me what's next. Okay. Mental clarity is on point, but memory is not. When you have a million, I call them like tabs that are open in my brain, right? We have a million of them open at all times. And so, well, guys, for all of you who are not familiar with me, I have been with Lavelle for 4.5 years. It'll be 5 years, September 2nd. So going into this summer, and then right there at the fall mark is when I'll hit my 5-year mark. And prior to Lavelle and the Thrive experience, I was a traditional business owner. So I had 3 studios where we did massage, nutrition, and personal training. And before that, when I was in college, I went and my degrees in exercise science, sports nutrition, where I concentrated in athletic training and physical therapy. So that's kind of what I've always been. I've always been in the health and wellness. I've always been in the industry of get the athlete from injury back on the field, prevent the injuries for the athletes. I always like to work with the athletes, and the reason being, I loved their drive to be better. I did a little bit of work in outpatient physical therapy, and it was cool. I like to meet new people and I like to help people, but they had no drive. Like, this older woman comes in with a hip surgery, and she's like, I like coming to see you every other day. And I'm like, I don't like to see you every other day. I want you to get better. I want you to feel good. I want you to do things. And they just had no interest in that. So my focus has always been with athletes and having fun and being in that action driven and helping people get better. If they have desires to get better, they're going to get better, right? They want that help. So that's where I started. When we moved to Michigan, that's where I kind of focused on and really zoned in on personal training, nutrition, and my athletic training, kind of blending those. And so I became an entrepreneur as soon as we moved to Michigan, and it was awesome. It was like, wow, I don't have a boss. I love this. I picked my own schedule, and I was a contractor, so I didn't have the overhead, right? I didn't have my own studios or anything like that. Well, what I realized is I was one person, and if I wanted to make more impact in this world and more income in my bank account, I needed more than just me. Like, I was stretched to the limit. So that's when I jumped into full entrepreneurship, and I started my first studio. From there, I went to 2 studios because all of a sudden we're like rocking and rolling. We have 14 people working, and then we need another studio, and then we need another studio. And then I decided I wanted to be a mom. Like, where did that come from? And at that point, I was working out of the house 14 plus hours a day while Jacoby was at daycare. And I realized, like, okay, this is just how things are, right? This is life. This is what it is. If you want to live the dream, then this is how your kid grows up. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I think I want another kid, because you can't have one, you have to have 2 in case something happens to you. And as soon as I had Jax, there was a lot going on in my head as I was pregnant with him. I actually sold one of my studios while I was pregnant with him, because I'm like, I need to be home more. I need to be a mom more. And in that time, I had dabbled in network marketing just because I don't know if any of you guys have ever had a friend ask you for a favor, right? Hey, I'm trying to go after this bonus. Maybe you've even said it to your friends in this company. My friend reached out to me and she's like, hey, I know you have no interest in this, but if you could just buy this kit, it would help me earn this bonus. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I was her maid of honor in her wedding. Of course I'm going to help her out. And so I started to dabble into that. I never took it serious. It was hobby, and I never took it serious. And I'm like, man, what could I have done if I had taken it serious? Because it was a great side income a lot of people trusted me. They came to me for help, and whatever I was using, they wanted to use. And so hobby money was like $3,000 a month, guys. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like recommending it. Right. But what I noticed was I wasn't feeling as good as this woman was in the story that Chastity shared one night on Facebook. That story had me going, I take 16 things, sometimes 18 things a day. And I don't feel even 10% like that woman just said in that story. I wasn't skeptical of nutritional supplements. I've been on them since I was 14 years old. So sports, I was an athlete. My sports trainers had us on supplements. And so I was no stranger to that, but I was a stranger to the stories. And I think many of you guys can relate to that, is these stories were kind of like, you're used to before and after pictures. People pop up those like weight loss story, right? But you never heard the story of patience in the morning, no longer hitting the snooze button, sleeping better. Like, those stories were very, very foreign to me in the nutritional world of supplements. And so that's where I was skeptical, because I'm like, okay, capsules, everybody knows what a capsule is. Everybody knows what a shake mix is. But what the heck is that sticker? That I was skeptical about. So, the stories had me thinking, yeah, right, but what if? I had so much curiosity behind that. And then I'll be honest, I didn't even know step 3 existed, because the story I read didn't talk about step 3. It just told me her story. And, and then when the package arrived and it had this silly sticker, I literally said, in no way I'm putting that silly sticker on my body. And I did. I put it somewhere where, nobody could see it, because I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And so I started as a customer because Jacoby was 2 years old with night terrors. Jax was 3 months old, didn't sleep. He loved to eat all night and sleep all day. I swear, daycare, like, just let him sleep all day so he would be up all night for me. Like, it was crazy. And then I would wake up to my snooze button 10 to 20 times some mornings, because I might have only gotten 2 hours of sleep. And so I was burning the candle at both ends. I had nothing to lose. And so I'm like, what is 30 days going to do? I mean, Jesus, I spend $500 a month on supplements now. What's $150 to see if it could give me a half the story this woman said? And that's how I got started. Yep. Isn't that crazy?
No, I love that, because I too was handful of pills 4 different times a day. Could never keep up with it. Didn't really know if it was ever doing anything. But I was a worn out, exhausted mom as well. And I was like, well, I'm not going to feel any worse. That was how I was like, I'm not going to feel any worse. So we'll just see what happens. So you started as a customer. What made you, when was like the moment that you were like, okay, I want to learn more about this business?
Well, Chas had said to me, with 2 referrals, you can get yours free. That rung a bell with me because that could save us a lot of money in our household. Like I said, we were spending about $500 a month on our supplements. That was normal in our house. I mean, between mine and my husband's, that's just crazy talk, but that was normal. And so I'm like, well, heck, if I can thrive for free, if this does what it does, right, I can thrive for free. This could save us so much money. And so I put Jeremy in as my first customer and my mom in as my second customer because they both needed it. Number one, if your spouse or significant other isn't thriving, you ain't getting along. Like, it just isn't happening. So he started thriving. My mom started thriving. And on September 2nd, if you put the dates together, it's like September 2nd, I clicked that promoter button because I got my credits. So I realized how much I had changed in just 15 days on the product. They gave me my credits. So I could trust the company. I'm now thriving for free. And I'm like, what do I have to lose? Chas says there was no website fee. There's no fee to join. There's nothing other than buying the products you personally want or to have on hand to sell as trials. But if you're thriving for free, those don't even cost anything anyways. So I really there was no risk. And as a business owner, it just made sense. Why would I send people to Chastity when I can just enroll them and make a commission? Like, that just made no sense to me. So I clicked the button. And when I clicked the button, she's like, okay, the next 14 days you have an opportunity to earn up to $1,300. I'm like, what? How the heck do I do that? And she's like, 8 people. I'm like, oh gosh, I got 8 people who are exhausted. Like, I didn't go into that fear base of, oh, how am I going to do this? I knew how good I was feeling and I was shouting it from the rooftops. I didn't care. I can tell you guys all this. I don't have a clue still to this day if somebody has told me no, because I don't worry about it. I'm not focused on their response. I'm focused on building a relationship with them, asking the question and continuing the relationship with them. I have no idea if they were rude or ignored me or told me no. I don't really know because I don't send a message and wait for a response, because that's going to like dagger you all the time in the heart and you're going to give up. You're going to get so frustrated. So looking back, if you're just getting started or rebooting your business or you're on a massive run, don't have any emotion connected to the response or outcome. None. Because nobody gets mad at you for walking into Meijer when Walmart's right across the street. Nobody gets mad at you. Nobody wonders, why does she shop there and not over here? They don't care. They go where they want to go. They do what they want to do when the time is right, right? Sometimes it's convenience. Sometimes it just makes sense. Right now in my life, I want to thrive versus 2 years ago. And so, when I send messages or I reach out to people in like today, I was at soccer and we have a couple thriving with us. Now, they just started thriving on Friday. They've been friends of ours for 2 years. So we had to build that relationship. We had to build that trust. They didn't know us. We moved to this town. We didn't know anybody. And so they started. Now, do you think I walked up to them and said, oh my gosh, how are you loving your Thrive experience? No, because they were pretty damn hesitant to even start in the first place. So I'm just like normal, like, hey guys, how's it going? Good luck. We were playing against their boy. My boy's playing against their boy. And we just had a normal conversation. Now, after they went home and there was nobody around, because I don't want them to feel awkward, I messaged, I'm like, hey, how's things going? I seen you. I saw the DFT and I didn't want to make them feel weird. So guys, don't change your relationship with people because they're thriving with you or they're not thriving with you. Just be normal. Just be yourself. Let them be themselves. And that's what I think has continued to help me build those relationships, and people will finally say yes to me 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later, because I never pressured them and I never made them feel weird, ever. And so getting into the journey, I looked at that as I was exhausted. I have energy. I hit snooze button. I no longer do. I sleep like a rock in the 3 hours I sleep. I never did before. All those things that were happening, I reached out to those moms I knew. I reached out to the guys that I knew that had aches and discomforts and mine were gone. I just said, I don't know what this is going to do for you. I don't even know what this is, other than it's 3 steps I take in the first thing in the morning, and I think it's going to help you with your back pain. I think it's going to help you sleep better. I didn't tell them a million things. I told them one thing I knew they were struggling with, and they're like, hey, what is it? Tell me more. Because I was able to pinpoint one thing. And also I was working 10 to 12 hours a day with clients, plus being a mom of a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old and a wife, and, keep going on. I didn't have time to tell them a million things. I wanted to tell them one thing it could help them with, and be honest that I didn't know what it was going to do for them, but it helped me with my sleep. It helped me with this or that. And I continue to keep it so simple that's how we went from literally a customer, click promoter button. We had VIP 800, 1600 in 24 hours. We hit 4K in 4 days and 12K in 9 days because we kept it so simple. And what I was sending my friends, guess what? They duplicated that. They sent the same type of message, so simple, to their friend. Hey, you work 3rd shift and I know you don't get good sleep. This product's helping me sleep better. Boom, send it. That's all they did. They sent it so quick, and duplication happens from you. So whatever you send your friend who says yes, that's what they're going to send their friends. So you want to start that duplication from the very beginning. If you're sending like a paragraph or a book, guess what your team's going to do? They're going to send a paragraph or a book because that's how they were introduced. So I didn't know what I was doing, but thank goodness it was super simple and duplicatable, because that's what we did so fast into our journey. We hit 200K as a team 3.5 months into it. So yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And, I look back, and like I said in the beginning, I have no idea who told me no or ignored me or who got a trial pack from me because I had horrible follow-up. I don't have a clue who has a trial pack they've never used for 4.5 years. Like, it's obviously expired, but I don't even know who has one, because we were just in rapid momentum and we didn't focus on the outcome. We focused on the next thriver. Who's my next thriver? Who's my next thriver?
So I love the word you just said, momentum. So you've been with this company now long enough to kind of see the ups and downs of momentum. You and I kind of came in at around the same time. And it was just like hyper growth. Like Lavelle just kind of went through hyper growth, which is totally normal when a brand new company has like just a bomb product. And so I have a feeling that we're about to kind of hit this kind of hyper growth again with this new CBD. I mean, going into a new market, again, like CBD, it's one of those things that like not a lot of people know about it, but it's becoming an established market. Everybody's heard of it over probably the last 3 or 4 years, just kind of like supplements. Like, we know there's value. We know that we trust Lavelle. So if Lavelle's coming to us with a product that's in this market, like, we know it's going to be awesome. What would you say, like to somebody that maybe feels like they never got in momentum, they never came in and like the business just kind of never took off, but they're still here. They still believe, and they want to capitalize on everything that's here. What would you tell that promoter as, we're kind of going into this next 6 weeks that we know there's going to be an announcement coming that's just going to kind of, and they don't want to miss it. They want to be a part of it.
The biggest thing I can say is I haven't stopped personally acting and doing each day as if it's my first day. So when people are like, I want to keep doing this, well, keep doing the do. You got to do the do to get the get. If you're not doing the do, the get will never happen. And so, I don't care how many millions of dollars we do in a month in sales. I still have a PPA that I'm focused on. I still want to change people's lives. I still want to do, because I don't know who my next 200K is. I don't know what mom is praying and crying in her bathroom or in her closet every single night. I don't know those things. So if I continue to share my story and share other people's stories and reach out to people and connect with people every single day, then I'm going to change someone's life. And that's what it's all about. So if you aren't seeing momentum, it's okay. You're planting your seeds. You have to water those seeds. You have to nurture that ground and that soil, and you have to nurture that plant as it starts to get interest. And you don't want to cut it off before it's actually to a height and where it's like, oh, it's almost time to do the crop. Like the crop's almost here, because so many people will see this little bit of interest and they'll go and cut it right off because they go at them and they're like, wow, right? Think about it as a, we got fields behind us. So I think about that. They come in, they plow the ground. Okay. They plant the seeds, they fertilize it, they water it, they nurture it. And as those plants start to grow, you don't see a combine coming in here and taking them out till they're ready. And so I really focus on my business that same exact way. Is I don't know. So we're in this challenge with Maria, and I can tell you guys my numbers. It's crazy to look at these, but I do I do a lot of mass stuff with emails. But so this week alone, I reached out to 102 people. I followed with 983 people. I did 21 social media posts. I did 27 people added to my list. So brand new names that I'm having conversation with. I speak to my leaders 12 times this week. I did, we did locals and we did lives, we do Zooms. So I track this stuff. And, when you're in a challenge and stuff, you really track it. But I don't do the minimum to get by. And I'm where I am. Could I sit back and go and manage my team? I could if that's me, but that's so not me. So when you're looking to get back into momentum, if you haven't been there, ask yourself, what did you do today to plant that seed, to nurture that seed, to water that seed, to get that seed to grow? What did you do today? Because that's your fruits are 3 months from now, 6 months from now. Like, we're such a microwave society. We want things like boom. We want to tell somebody and we want them to say yes. Reality is that's not how it works. I mean, think about it. How many people for you in the time you've been a promoter that when you reached out to them, that first time you reached out to them, they were like, yep, how do I sign up? Very few, right? Like maybe a handful, and since you're a 200K, like maybe a handful said yes. And those were the people that were like, okay, you either scare me or I trust you so much, right? Like there's not a whole lot in between. But all the ones that said yes, it took time. They had to see a couple stories. Especially if you're talking to strangers, you guys, they got to get to know you. They got to like you. And then they got to trust you, because they're going to buy you before they buy the product. And that's where you can get that third-party validation and speed up the process. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, they're not going to just buy from a stranger. I mean, it just doesn't happen unless you got crazy, awesome ads out there, which nobody should have ads, because this is a relationship business, not an ad business. But you guys, momentum starts and ends with you. At the end, that's the only answer I have for that, because if you're not going, your team won't go. They follow the leader. They watch what you do. If you're posting spam, they're going to post spam. Well, is it working for you? Is it working for them? Like those are things you evaluate your business and you make some changes.
Hey. Oh.
So I was like, so one thing to also to do if you aren't having that momentum, and momentum means so many different things to me, you guys. Yes, numbers, that's a given, right? We want to have good, awesome numbers. We want our teams to grow. We want business to be flourishing. But also I want to challenge you to think of momentum as, how many conversations are you having today? You had 0 last week, but you have 10 going this week. That's momentum, guys. That's movement. How many posts did you do that got engagement last week versus this week? Evaluate your business and know momentum happens not just because of a sale went in, but because you have emotional movement happening in your life, in your business. And so if you're not talking to anybody, start talking to people. And it's not saying, hey, have you heard of Thrive? No, that might be 4 conversations in. Your first conversation is, I haven't talked to you in 20 years. Like, what the heck's going on? Tell me about life. Do you have kids? Oh my gosh, I've seen kids on your Facebook. You get to know them. They go check you out. And if you have good, engaging posts and thought posts, you have a story on there, you did a live video where you talked about your ultra, how it's doing for you in the first week, they're going to watch that stuff because you didn't reach out to them asking them for a sale. And I did a video almost 2 months ago now, and the title, I think, I got a lot of hate mail on this one, so it's pretty awesome.
Awesome.
I know, it's crazy. So when I sent this, because I do a lot of broadcasts through ManyChat, I said, do you date the person before you ask them for sex? Because when you relate that to network marketing, 99% of the people ask for sex first. They don't even date the person. They walk right up to them and say, hey, do you want to buy Thrive from me? Or, hey, have you heard of Thrive? I'd love to sell it to you. Instead of getting to know them, figuring out what their solution is. Do they even need what you have? Of course they do, but you need to understand what they need in order to get them ready to say yes and be an awesome thriver. Because if they don't know you, like, you don't just walk up and go, hey, you want to go? Like, no, you don't. You date the person first. You date them, which means in network marketing, you build that relationship. You get to know them, know what they need, and you have the solution right here that you just offer. So that's how you get into momentum. You be smart about it. You be thought process. Make them think in your posts. Don't just post something that's like, oh, that's cool. No, get them thinking. Make them go, man, I wish I had that. I wish I felt like that. You know, and it could be one-liners that really set the tone for momentum that next week, of a one-liner like, gosh, spring break and I don't want to kill my kids, right? They're going to go, okay, why don't you want to kill your kids? Because I want to kill my kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, this patience is awesome. This Black Label's insane. You know, like, that's how I go into conversations.
Absolutely. It's not, because for the most part, I think too, people that, if you really want to substantially build this business, like, you're not looking for, to go back to your metaphor, you're not looking for a one night stand. You're not looking for, something that's just going to, be in that moment. You're looking for a real person that wants to, join your team, be a part of your culture, adopt what is going on here. That's what's going to, create a sustainable team and, business, as opposed to like a one and done. Nobody likes the one and done thriver. We like that.
How many do we have, right? Like, a
so
lot.
Many. And you, especially when you think it's going to go somewhere and it doesn't, man, you could really tie all of this back to what you said.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we're right here at the 30-minute mark. So I know that you've really done an amazing job of, building kind of on social media, just your presence. I don't know. Are you using social media a lot to like attract new thrivers, and kind of how has, because back when we started, it was, 4.5, 5 years ago, like, everything was Facebook, share a Facebook story and get on a 3-way call. That was kind of like what our training was. And I think that what we did then, like, it's so different, and like, it's just changed. It's evolved. We've evolved with, Instagram wasn't even that big of a deal, 4.5 years ago. And now it's like the bomb. Snapchat didn't exist. So things are always evolving. How do you kind of, what would you tell somebody that's like, I feel like I'm in a rut. I've been doing things the exact same way. I see that there are new ways to build those relationships. You've done an amazing job of really adapting to that, adopting it, and making it your own. What would you tell somebody that, like, they want the same results, but they know they need to do something different? The same results meaning like success, what would you tell somebody?
I would tell you, get good at one platform. Don't try to be a master at all, because you will fail every single one of them. That's the honest truth. So I got good at Facebook, right? And I mastered Facebook. I still get leads from my Facebook. And now if you're not using Facebook stories, you're missing out on those too, because I'm not getting leads from my posts. I'm getting leads from my stories. And so, and that's still a work in progress for me, because it's not a habit, it's not part of my day to show everybody my day. Like, that's just not, like, I'm like, nobody wants to know that I'm working. Nobody wants to know I'm outside with my kid. Like, I'm a pretty private person, but very open, if that makes any sense. And so when I started using stories, I'm like, gosh, nobody wants to see this, but everybody does. And what's cool about stories on Facebook, if you're not using them, you can post 1 million stories. And everybody loves that. If you posted 1 million times on Facebook as a post, you're competing with yourself and nobody sees your stuff. So stop competing with yourself. Post one quality post a day and blow up your story. If you got a lot going on and you're excited, you want to show the sunset and the sunrise and the kids and this and that and all those things, stories are where that's at. And people will watch them because they click through. What's cool about that is you see who looked at your story. And you can see those non-thrivers and you can go, boop, write them down on a little notepad. And I send them a quick message and I'm like, hey, what's going on? I don't even say, I seen you looked at my story. Heck no, they're never going to look at my stories again. I just send them a quick message like, oh my gosh, how long has it been? Like, I just build that relationship right back from where it ended maybe 10 years ago or 2 years ago or last week. I'm still connecting with them. So my follow-up is insane because I look at those people's names and I mark them down and I start engaging in Messenger. So one thing I did about about 10 months ago, on your phone, you can check your screen time, right? You can check what app you're on. So Facebook was 3 times higher than Messenger or my texting. That means I was wasting 3 times of my time versus where my productivity happens is in Messenger. You can make $1 million in Messenger. You definitely will not make $1 million on Facebook. You won't. You post one time and you follow up. So how many people are you following up with from that post or those stories? And then the Instagram itch started to happen. And, everybody's on Instagram and they're getting all these results. And I'm like, gosh, dang it, I don't know how to do Instagram. Like, I don't understand it. Like, and then I also had a stigma of like, I don't want to be perfect every day because this is what I am like. I'm in a sweatshirt, hair up, and I'm working my tail off, right? And I don't have these beautiful like setups and taking cool pictures for Instagram. And so that held me back because I was comparing myself to those Instagrammers. And I'm like, no. I need them to be attracted to me. And if they don't like who I am, they don't need to follow me. Like they need to be bye-bye. They don't even need to be part of my organization or my life, right? And so I got over myself pretty quick and I started to figure out Instagram. Instagram, you can find out everything for free, you guys. Google it, YouTube it. I mean, everybody, anything you want to know about hashtags, you can Google it. Anything you want to know about how do you make those patterns that look so cool on people's Instagram feeds, Google it. That's what I did. And then I wanted to quickly get in. I wanted to understand the secrets behind Instagram. So I hired someone that was killing it in Instagram. I said, tell me what you know in a shortened version, like fast, because microwave society, right? We want to know everything. And then I just started implementing it. And I implemented it and I implemented it. And it has to do with, so when you're going over to Instagram, if you're ready for it, you really can do the same thing almost on Facebook if you're good at it. But it's all about the hashtag to get the followers. Your hashtags must align with what your picture is and what your content is. And the next thing is if they like your picture, they're going to read your content. If your content sucks and it has no thought engaging, they're not going to follow you. They're going to be like, no. So your content must align with your picture and your hashtags must align with the picture and the content. If you're posting about boy mom and your post is about the food you had in California, well, your hashtag was searched by a boy mom and they just said, you're in California without your kids. Yeah, you're not who I want to follow. So it really has to connect, guys, with Instagram. So when I got into Instagram, I didn't drop Facebook. So don't do 2 platforms until you have a system down that you know how you're rocking and rolling on one before you start another. I mean, that you don't have time for it. I also do these. I have calendars that I print out and it tells me literally I can look and go, oh, Thursday, I'm going to share a photo of something that I'm thankful for and write about what it means to me. So I already plan out my social media, you guys. I have pictures that I used from last year, 2 years ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't worry about, is that picture from today? Is that story from today? It's just content that relates to me, my life, my love, everything I do, and it will attract my followers, my fans, and all those things, my next thrivers, right? So don't get caught up on, I didn't do anything today. Well, what'd you do 2 years ago? Share a picture and talk about it. Like, that's really what it comes down to on social media. But with that, you can post things, but if you're not following up, why are you posting? Just don't post. If you're not going to do the work, don't waste the time posting.
When you said 900 and something follow-ups, like, will you just quickly, because I think so many times people get so stuck in like, what's a reach out? What's a follow-up? What's a list? Like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like, what does that mean? What is 5 contacts? Like 5 contacts about Thrive, like 4 follow-ups about Thrive, 3 social media shares about Thrive, like we get so caught up in that. What, walk us through really quick. When you said that number, my face, I saw myself go, whoa, that's a lot of follow-up. Talk us, like, what does follow-up look like to you?
So, I'll go through so reach outs are people who have liked my story, looked at my stories, or engaged on my posts, Facebook or Instagram, that are not Thrivers. So those are reach outs the first time I've ever spoke to these people, right? And so those people go on a list of mine. Like, if you post good quality, you'll have reach outs and follow up for a year or longer on just literally maybe 2 weeks worth of posts. My follow up is follow up from people I have communicated with. They've asked me questions about Thrive. And this was a great weekend because we had free shipping. How many of you capitalized on free shipping with the people you've talked to in the last month? Let's just do the last month, let alone the last year or 4 years or 5 years you've been in business. Do you know who you've talked to about Thrive that asked you a question? They gave interest, like they were curious, but they never actually ordered. Do you know who those people are? I know I have a journal that I've had for 4.5 years, right? You know who they are. So it's so easy to just go, boom, send them a follow-up, because a lot of them will unsubscribe to Lavelle's emails, but they're still connected to you. So don't, a lot of times people are like, oh, Lavelle told them about free shipping. They don't care about Lavelle. Heck, they probably forgot what Lavelle even means, or they unsubscribe. But a person reaching out to them, or a person who emails them, and there's a picture attached to it, and there's actually a content attached to that, they're going to listen to it. They're going to read it, and that order is that much closer. So the follow-up I did this weekend, a lot of it was the free shipping. So all of my free customers that have never, ever ordered, I have all their emails in constant contact. I can create a little cool, fun, cute email that gets sent out. And I always put something, I always have a story in there. I always have my picture in there. And I get opening, I get people to open it. They read it. They click around. You can see who clicks. And then now I have another follow-up list. This person clicked on it. So then I'm like, hey, I seen you, open up the email. Do you have any questions? I'd love to get you started. If you're not ready yet, then, I'll keep you on my list. So it's still that customer service. It's no different than Nordstrom or, Old Navy that sends you everything, or Express that sends you everything, right? Overstock. Heck, they get me almost every time. Like, I just got an email this morning and it literally, the subject said, you deserve something new. Yes, I do. You're going to open that. So when I do email, I always I write down the subject lines of other people's emails that come into my inbox that get me to open their stuff. Well, today, you deserve something new. By golly, I opened that thing. I don't need anything from Overstock today, but actually I just ordered something 2 days ago from them. I don't need anything new, but their subject line was good. So study that. If you're going to send emails, what subject lines get opened? What makes you open a email, right? Same thing with messages. They see the first 2 or 3 lines. What ones will you avoid if it was so I don't wear makeup. And so if there was like a unique or somebody else sending me a message and their first few lines was makeup, well, I'm not going to open it because they're trying to sell me makeup. So what are the first 3 lines of your message that makes them go, gosh, I want to see what I want to see what else they said. Or using a voice message. Everybody, like, curiosity is going to kill them. They cannot leave a voice memo unheard because they want to know what you said. Like, they're like, a lot of people don't even know what it is. So they're going to hit play. They're going to hear your voice. So those are my reach outs. So this weekend was just about free shipping, and I added a 7 days of blast for a trial if they ordered. So they could order with the free shipping code and then get 7 days of blast from me.
Very nice. I love that. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions for Natasha, please put them in the chat. Somebody was asking you about how you simplified your messenger. I know you use like a platform, right? That kind of like attached to your business page, right? Like automatically like staying organized in Messenger.
Oh,
like,
so
PM about like lives. Like if you're gonna go live, like you'll send an alert.
Fan page, and I don't recommend fan pages unless you're a 200K and you're rocking and rolling and you're looking at doing some industry stuff. Fan pages, as a Lavelle brand promoter, you can't post about Thrive. You can't talk about Thrive. You can't wear your DFT anywhere. You can't have anything Lavelle anywhere. Like, that's why I have this, like, it's not generic, but it's saying in words behind me because I go live so much just teaching in the industry to then pull in leads. That's kind of where I am in my journey. And so if you have a like page, a fan page, you can attach bots and you can broadcast out to those bots. You can send them, notifications. Like some of you probably get notifications from me like, hey, I'm going live in 15 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And that's cool, but I'm going live over there, and you have to be at a point, and I don't think anybody probably is, but you have to be at a point where you can talk and you can put value out there without talking about Thrive, talking about Lavelle. You got to have it so general, but so engaging. And so it's a lot of work to do that. I would say don't go there until you're absolutely ready, because you got to be consistent on your profile and getting results on your profile before you even think about that. How do I keep everything organized? I tell people, you really don't want to spend a day with me because you're probably going to be super bored, because I have a 27-inch computer in front of me. I usually have 4 screens going on here. I have Messenger going on here because I have five projects that I'm doing at any given time. And so I have Messenger. You can hear the messengers popping up during this, I'm sure, because I can't shut it off for some reason. But people are messaging me, and then as soon as I'm done with the message and it doesn't need my attention, I archive it. I get it out of my Messenger feed. I archive it because then I don't lose those ones I need to follow up with. And then, when it comes to Instagram, same way, after I'm done with the conversation, I archive it. I get it out of there.
Awesome. So smart. Well, I loved everything that you had to say. I love that you deserve something new. Like Kendra Scott will probably send me an email just like that. And I'm like, I do deserve something new, even though I have everything that you sell. And I'm like, what's new? Like, I just want to see like, what is new? Maybe I do need it. Maybe I do deserve it. And I
have a folder in my emails that just says subject lines.
So smart.
If one of them's like, I'm like, wow, that is a good subject line. I don't even care who it's from. I put it over in there because I'll use it.
What woman doesn't want to get an email that says you deserve to feel confident in your bathing suit this summer? I would freaking open that. I would be like, do you have a cellulite cream? What do you have?
And then you have an incredible before and after picture in a story that is just going to pull her right in and go, yes, I need this, right?
Yes, I love that.
It's all about getting them to get yourself in their shoes. You're a thriver. They're a non-thriver. How do you get that non-thriver to even look at your stuff?
Right. Exactly.
Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Hi.
This is little man.
I have a little man that likes to get on my Zooms too. He's just asleep. He's 3.
How old are you?
4.
4.
When's your birthday?
In August.
That is not your birthday. When is your birthday? May?
May.
Yeah.
So are you going to be 5?
May 13th, huh? What?
One of the YouTube has a lot of Nerf guns.
You don't need Nerf guns. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's like, my birthday's coming. Yes, I do. And I will, the other thing that I really love that you said, because usually that's exactly what I look like. Hair on top of my head, no makeup. My team knows that if I waited until I like was showered and had makeup on to ever do like any types of trainings with them, like they would never get any trainings. But it's like, that's what anybody that's new is going to get too. So it's like, you better show who you are and be authentic, because I don't want to I don't want to recruit somebody in to some false image of myself. And then they like join our team, and here I am like on our Zoom training. It's like, sorry guys, I haven't showered in like 3 days. It's a little greasy, but I really had to share this stuff with you. I mean, that's just, you got to keep it real. So, all right.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, authenticity always wins in your posts and your pictures and your Zooms and who you are. I mean, it is who it is. And, I show up to a 7 and 8 figure earner training, and I literally was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to train these 7 and 8 figure earners, guys. This is like big people. And I said, screw it. I'm wearing my hat. I'm wearing my sweatshirt because that's who I am. Like, I'm not going to change for anybody. I don't care how much money they make, or, I don't care how successful they are. This is who I am, and I'm going to show up that way.
I love it. All right. Well, it doesn't seem like anybody has any more questions. So thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. I know it's spring break. Your boys are home. So I appreciate you so much taking the time and giving us, I took a page full of notes. Can't wait to put, so many of these new little tips into play. I'm going to be thinking about my email lines, and I'm going to be paying more attention to all those emails I get from like Old Navy, Gap, everything. I mean, you guys get 100 of them a day. Like, so smart. So thank you, Natasha. Thank you so much. We'll see you at Thrivepalooza.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
If you guys are not following her, find her on Facebook, find her on Instagram. She provides so much just network marketing value each and every day that, like she says, she keeps it generic, but I promise you, if you need some personal development like, she's a great one. So thank you so much for all you do for all of us, and we appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you all have a great night. We'll talk soon.
Yes. Looking forward to it. I'll talk to you later.